If you are thinking about moving to St. Petersburg, Florida, you may have noticed that a lot of the neighborhoods and a lot of the homes in and around the downtown, the walkable areas, the square footage, it's kind of hard to make that work, and the price points can be really, really kind of crazy. So today we are talking about 5 neighborhoods and 5 potential options that will get you everything that you will want while staying as close to St. Petersburg as possible. In all these 5 areas that we're going to discuss today, you are going to be able to buy a home, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, with a garage, with a pool, that is going to be doable without having to spend a crazy amount. So we're going to talk about a variety of options. We're going to talk about areas like Seminole and why this is such a great spot, but it's on the quieter side. We'll talk about Allendale and how this is one of my go-to spots for kind of entering into that historic market. It's still walkable, it's still historic, it's still not in a flood zone, but you're getting a better price point than Crescent Heights. And then we'll talk about Greater Pinellas Point, guys, because this is a hidden gem. And in the final stretch of this video, I'm going to show you guys and talk to you guys about an iconic neighborhood in St. Petersburg where all the streets are completely pink. And so it's a mix. It's going to be talking about the nuances with each neighborhood, how to go about navigating them. I'm not when I say Allendale Terrace is a very small area, but really in this video we're going to talk about everything you need to know about just navigating this area in general, because there's actually a flood zone that cuts through right between north and south that you need to be aware about if you are making a decision to move to St. Petersburg, Florida. And so anyhow, my name is Aaron Chan, and me and my wife Aubrey are realtors here in Tampa Bay. If you're looking to move, feel free to reach out to us. Our number's on the screen. But let's get on with this video. I want to start by talking about Seminole, and a big reason I am making this video is because I was actually out, and shout out to Kevin and Marianne if you guys are watching this, but we were out with some buyers earlier this month, and they have kind of opened my eyes up to how hard it is to make a decision around the coast, because when you look at like towns like Dunedin, yeah, you want to situate yourself around those, but the amount you're paying to do that is a lot. So when you see the prices down here in Seminole and in areas like Seminole and Largo, you start to wonder, why are the prices so different, and are there advantages to being down here in areas like Largo? Because if you look at the flood zones, generally all of Seminole does really, really well in terms of flooding, and you can find, and all these homes, guys, are 5-10 minutes from the beach. So if being near the beach is important to you, then Largo and Seminole are great options that aren't really discussed. Seminole and Largo don't necessarily have a dedicated downtown area, and this entire area just here on this side doesn't really have a downtown area near it. Yeah, you're close to the beaches, but depending on where that is, some of these beaches just don't have a lot going on. So it's nothing like Dunedin or Safety Harbor. If being near a coastal town that has a lot going on is important to you, you aren't going to find that in Seminole. That being said, if staying near the Pinellas Trail, staying near the beach, being 5-10 minutes drive from everything, and actually being really, really close to downtown St. Pete, which has significantly more to offer than Dunedin and Safety Harbor, if that's important to you, then honestly, Seminole and Largo are both great choices. It's still kind of confusing as to, okay, well, where do I buy? What do I look for? And really, this is where it can take some time to find the right area. It can be a lot of exploring. If you tell me you want downtown Dunedin and you want to be walking distance to downtown Dunedin, that gives me a pretty tight radius. But if our main priority is finding a good, affordable home, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, with a garage, with a pool, in a non-flood zone, near something like the Pinellas Trail is what we're saying, guys, there are just so many options. There's Distant Heights, there's Pinellas Park, there's really all the options that we're discussing today. Where it does get tricky is knowing how to navigate that within the Seminole. Anyhow, guys, drop a comment below, guys. Comment below. I want to see some comments, guys. Please, please, please. I want to see them. But comment below any questions you have around Seminole. And do you guys feel like this is an area you see yourself moving to? Because I'm genuinely surprised by how there's not that many videos out there. And so I want to hear from you. What questions do you have about Seminole? What do you think about Seminole? Is there anything I'm not touching on? Let me know in the comments below. But yeah, we'll move on to the next part, which we're going to talk about Countryside, guys, which Countryside is amazing. This is where my wife grew up. This is where we lived for over a year. And this is the highest point in Tampa Bay. And again, guys, we're talking about all the neighborhoods that you are going to want to situate yourself around. And stay tuned until the end of this video, because at the end of this video, I'm really, really honestly excited again to talk about Allendale and some else of what we have coming up towards the end. So without further ado, let's get on with Countryside, Clearwater, and everything you need to know. Is this a good suburb for you to choose or not? My name is Aaron, and me and my wife Aubrey are realtors here in the Tampa Bay area. We helped over 40 families relocate and buy a home. If you are considering a move, our number is on the screen, and we would very much love to work with you. We work with all our clients one-on-one, and that's something that we pride ourselves in and something we cherish a lot. So when it comes to Countryside, we actually have a lot of videos on Countryside, so I don't want to take up a whole lot of time on this, but really, it's not like a dedicated area. In fact, I had to put in Countryside Mall even just to get a pin in. But when I talk about the Countryside area, really I'm talking about Countryside, which is this entire space, and then also the Safety Harbor area, because if you can find a home in either of these areas, these are going to be great spots, because they're both generally not going to be in a flood zone. And what I love about it, the main thing, is that all the orange is not in a flood zone, which means you do not, well, it's flood zone X, which means you are not required to carry flood insurance by your lender because the risk has not been deemed high enough to do so. Technically, all of Florida is in a flood zone, though. But with flood zone X, very, very low chance of flooding. Like the altitude or the elevation is over 60 feet in parts of Countryside, so you don't have to worry about that here. But and it gets really high really quick, which you can tell just by looking at the coastline where Safety Harbor meets the bay. Price point wise, generally it's going to be a lot higher and limited inventory because of just because Countryside has been higher. The demand around Countryside has continued to stay up throughout the two hurricanes. In fact, if anything, it's gone up even higher. The last listing I had in Countryside went so quick. I think it was a week. We had multiple offers. It was insane. So Countryside, the best part about Countryside is just the fact that it is 30 minutes away from everything. And I talk about this a lot. But even if you don't end up in Countryside, Florida, another spot that I would consider, or Countryside Clearwater, is the area around Costco, which is right here, US 19 and south of Gulf to Bay. Kind of this whole area, Keene, around here, you can find, again, similar to Seminole. These are still spots I would keep on my search as potentials. If all that's important to me is, I don't really care where I'm at, I just want a decent home, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, garage, pool. These are all spots that we're talking about today. So this area, that's why I wanted to mention it, because there's nothing really going on around here. You got Costco nearby. Unless Costco is really, really exciting to you and you're moving to be near the Costco, man, there's not really much nearby. So you're moving here for the home. So if $599, 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath, no pool on this one, but oh, that's beautiful. I love the mid-centuries. I would, man, if there's terrazzo underneath those floors, they are coming up. It looks like there is, bro. Oh my gosh, this home is beautiful. I love it. Yeah, dude. Okay, so I like this home. $599 in Clearwater. Good sized home though. So if you don't want to move way out to the suburbs, you still want to stay near the coast, you want to be in a no flood zone, even if you have kids, and this is a good option. This is a great option because it's not a flood zone. It's not a flood zone. It's a good sized home and decent area as well. So, all right, next on our list, this is one I'm excited about, is going to be Allendale, guys. Allendale is going to be very different in the sense that you're still driving to things. Like, I wouldn't necessarily say you can walk to downtown like you can in Kenwood or you can in historic Uptown. But what you can do in Allendale, guys, is Allendale is very much a historic area. It's very much a historic neighborhood at, honestly, a really great, well, not in that case, a really great entry-level price. Here's a good one. $415, 9 days, nice, maintained, move-in ready, historic home, wood floors, beautiful, went in 9 days. So this isn't technically in Allendale, but for the sake of this video, I'm talking about Allendale and Magnolia Heights, and the whole area north of here, guys, is going to have great options up until 54th Avenue. And the reason I say that is not that there's no good options after 54th Avenue. It's just for your guys' sake. I want you guys to be aware that when you get past 54th Avenue, it does go back into a flood zone. And so in the AE, which is the light purple here, you are going to need to carry flood insurance or some sort of elevation certificate if the home is elevated. But the flood zone kind of continues going all up north, and then this area is it's all commercial and industrial, so no real homes available there. So that's really why this is such a good spot, though, is because these neighborhoods in and throughout here that are not in a flood zone truly are really, really, really beautiful. Like here's another one, 300, built 1955, no photos. Dang it. Here's one built 2015. Okay, here's a newer one, 830. Decent size. Do we have a pool? We have a pool. This is great. And that's another point I want to bring up with Allendale. There is a variety of options. You'll see the historic bungalows, but you'll also see stuff built in the 50s, and then you'll see stuff built recently as well. But yeah, guys, definitely this is a neighborhood to drive through when you're in here, because like I said, yeah, a variety of homes. You see a variety of styles. Some have been kept up with, some not so much. Some are iconic. Some are very, very iconic, but there is a good variety here. You got some new construction up here, and then you'll also even see it go into brick paved roads again. So this is another just great spot. So again, guys, to recap, Allendale area is going to be a great spot. Allendale plus Magnolia Heights going all the way up until 54th Avenue, and then once it gets past 54th Avenue, just know that you're getting into areas where you're no longer in flood zone X, you're in flood zone AE. The worst thing I hear relocation buyers go through is we didn't realize the insurance risk or how close we were, or we didn't understand it, or we didn't ask the right questions before we bought. And so I can help narrow in so much off the get-go, guys. That's why I like people to reach out to us even when they're years out, because we can narrow in on the area and the home and just help you with the decision-making process early on so much because of key information like, hey, just so you know, if you're in flood zone AE, you are going to have to pay flood insurance no matter what if you have a mortgage. And if you don't have a mortgage and you don't want to carry flood insurance, then it's just good to know what type of risks am I actually facing, and how serious could the flooding be if it did occur? So, and how often is it likely to occur? So things like that are huge. Last neighborhood we are talking about today, you guys, is Greater Pinellas Point, and this is a awesome spot for really a number. It's similar to Seminole in the sense that it feels way more tucked away to me though, but as I've been talking to people and getting to know them, they would probably beg to differ and say that it's very similar to Seminole because you are still 10 minutes from the beach, just going right here, and you're 10 minutes from some of my favorite beaches, guys. I absolutely love Pass a Grill Beach. Is one of my favorites, the Paradise Grill. Where is it? Right here, guys. You got to check it out when you're down here. The Paradise Grill right here down bottom Pass a Grill is a great spot. And then also Fort DeSoto is an absolutely beautiful state park. I mean, the water here really is like the Florida Keys. And so if you're down here, Greater Pinellas Point, you are still close to downtown St. Petersburg. You're very much in, it very much feels like a suburb, especially neighborhoods like Lakewood Estates where you actually have the golf course going through. There's still nothing really like near here, different from Gulfport. Like Gulfport still has its own little downtown area here, which honestly you're still close to in Greater Pinellas Point, but you know, you are like a 10 to 15 minute drive from downtown St. Pete, and you're also like a 10 to 15 minute drive from the beach. And so nothing's close, but also nothing's that far either. Now, if you have a boat, I know a lot of boaters love this spot because they love to go down here under the sunshine, the Skyway Bridge, catch tarpon, catch tons of fish, and then also just channels and areas around Maximo Park, I think is where you can put a boat in. Yeah, right here. This area just beautiful. Like I have a friend who has a boat and he always puts it in here, and we go and we'll fish for all kinds of stuff. Right in here. So definitely a great spot, really fun. Greater Pinellas Point has some really iconic neighborhoods like the Pink Streets, which a lot of folks don't know about until like years after living here. And so I like to even tell our relocation buyers about the Pink Streets because they can have like a hidden iconic neighborhood that they know about, a hidden spot that really only the locals, guys, only the OGs know about, the Pink Streets. And so this is also another just super iconic neighborhood within Greater Pinellas Point that has stunning, stunning homes. If you are into mid-century homes, the famous like birdcage homes are located over here. Anyhow, when it comes to price points and flood zones in Greater Pinellas Point, guys, I'm not going to lie to you, this area is going to be one of the ones that is in a flood zone, but not all of it. A good portion of it just is in that AE flood zone. Again, you guys, I'm not saying this to scare you. I just want you to be aware of what you're getting into. We have tons of relocation buyers. I am in an AE flood zone that buy in an AE flood zone, but I just want to educate you guys about the risks just so that you know what you're getting into. Because again, if you want to live in spots like the Pink Streets where there are really, really iconic homes, part of what that entails is going to be being in a flood zone. So with those nuances, with all that, again, that's something we like to dive in person, questions we want to answer in person. But again, guys, comment below, what are your questions around flood zones? Would you buy in a flood zone, or would you absolutely not buy in a flood zone? Do you want me to even talk about areas that are remotely in a flood zone, or not even talk about them at all because nobody that's looking to relocate wants to buy in a flood zone? I want to hear from you guys. Comment below, get the comments going. Let's get some dialogue going, because this is a community, and I promise you the journey feels so much better when you know that there are other people on the journey with you. Anyhow, that is it for this video in terms of the prices. When it comes to Greater Pinellas Point, you can really expect a variety. You're going to have stuff in the, honestly, down to like what we were seeing in Pinellas Park, where here's a great one that went for $261, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, block construction home. Probably needs some work, but honestly not too bad. This is actually a great flip. This is a great flip. Yeah, this is awesome. So this one went in 3 days, though. That's quick. $261. And so you're going to see a variety of options within Greater Pinellas Point, but it's just one of those spots to keep in mind. Going up to Lakewood Estates, you're going to find bigger lots. Here's 1,500 for 600,000. It's 5 bedrooms, four bedrooms, 3-bath home, great backyard, fully updated, move-in ready. So these are kind of all the options, guys, that really are good to keep your mind around. And again, just to recap, this isn't to say that these are the only options. These are just variations of kind of what to expect. But really, guys, if being near a certain area is not important to you, and it's really just about getting that 3-bedroom, 2-bath, pool, plus garage minimum criteria met, all these areas are going to be great spots. Really, what's next is for us to just understand, what is that core anchor? What is that thing that we want to be near? Is it downtown St. Pete? Is it downtown Dunedin? Is it just being close to the beach? Is this a second home? Do we need to be able to Airbnb it? Because if that's the case, Largo and Seminole are really going to be where we're going to want to look a lot of the time. And so these are all things that we just want to go through, and nuances. And so hope that video was helpful. If I know we didn't touch on Countryside too much, and so if you're interested in hearing more about Countryside, we made a whole video about the Countryside Safety Harbor and what to expect there. And so we actually have a few videos on that, plus Dunedin. So check those out as well. But again, my name is Aaron, and me and my wife Aubrey are realtors here in Tampa Bay, and we have walked through this journey with countless people. If that is you, if you are looking to move here, if you are looking to rent here, if you're looking to buy here, reach out to us. We would love to hear from you, no matter where you are at in the journey, because that's what we want to do. We want to come alongside you if you're 5 years out, 4 years out, wherever that is, and help you with that decision, help you with that planning phase. Maybe the solution is, hey, it'd be better to come here, rent for a year first, and then buy. And so really what we want is the opportunity to be able to help guide you through that one-on-one. And so again, our number is on the screen. If that is you, reach out to us. We would love to hear from you. Text us, call us. It rings to my phone. Text us, call us. It rings to my phone. But yeah, we would love to hear from you.